Good morning, everyone. My name is John Hurley. I'm your judge this morning. We're in first appearance court. Today is the day this court determines whether or not there's probable cause for your arrest. We're not here for a trial. We're not here to determine whether you're guilty or not guilty. It's not for today. I'm telling you that because you do not need to explain yourself, defend yourself, make an excuse, explain away anything that did or did not occur regarding your arrest. It's not for today. Those things are better saved for your attorney in a private meeting. Do not air them out in open court. You have the constitutional right to remain silent. Utilize that right at all times. But if you give up the right to remain silent, whatever you say can and will be used against you. Everything's being recorded. Also, if you have a private attorney, when I call your name, you come up forward. Let me know who your attorney is. I'll make sure your attorney knows that you're in court this morning. Now, I need to see Tyrone Fender.
Main jail. Decline PD.
He's got an attorney here. Mr. Tyrone Fender.
Good morning, Judge. Dwayne representing Tyrone Fender.
Good morning, Mr. Fender. Please allow your attorney to speak on your behalf. You don't need to say anything, all right?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay. He's charged with aggravated assault. Sir, do you have a comment about probable cause today?
Today, it's just reading the report. I think it passed probable cause just for today's purposes.
It says here he brandished a handgun from underneath his shirt, displayed to the victim, who was Marvin Smickle. It says defendant chased him in between several vehicles, and apparently, allegedly, your client discharged the gun behind the alleged victim, and they found a .40 caliber shell casing on the scene. So, does this defendant have any criminal record?
No, Judge.
Okay, has no criminal record.
Judge, I'm asking for a $5,000 bond.
State, what do you?
Your Honor, I'd be asking for a $15,000 bond allegation of a shot fired, not just the assault, but assault with the shot fired in the what would appear to be while he was chasing the victim. So.
Right. Well, he's 38 years old. He has no criminal record, right?
No, Judge.
None, Judge.
So I'm gonna set his bond. I'm gonna go with the defense on this. I'm gonna set his bond at $5,000, but order that he has no contact.
Yes, Judge.
Directly or indirectly with Marvin Smickle. Sir, no contact with this gentleman. You have to stay 500 feet from him, and you're not allowed to possess any guns, any weapons, any firearms, ammunition while you're unreleased. Do you understand? Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
Have a nice day. Ma'am, you're together? No. You're on another case. Come on up, ma'am. And you're here on...
Darren Reed, Your Honor. Andy Coffey on his behalf.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No problem, Judge.
Darren Reed.
What was that name again, please?
Darren Reed. Charged count 2 burglary with a battery. It's a perfection. Okay, Mr. Reed, you have attorney Andy Coffey here. He's a very fine attorney. Please allow him to speak on your behalf. You don't need to say anything unless we ask a question. Do you understand that, Mr. Reed?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir, your client's charged on count 2 with a burglary with battery. I see Judge McCarthy handled this originally, and apparently she didn't find probable cause to count 2. Burt bat. And count 1.
Count 1, she found proof evident, presumption great, holding no bond. On count 2, Your Honor, I don't have any additional information. What I can do, I can proffer, Your Honor. I spoke with the Assistant State Attorney John Tolley, who was representing the state on Sunday for this hearing. And I think, respectfully to Judge McCarthy, she misread the allegations. What he informed me was, her belief was, and if you see the allegations are contained on page 2, starting with, it says, after the defendant was stopped from entering Clemente's vehicle. It should go in from there. It ultimately mentions that the defendant appeared to pass out. And Judge McCarthy read it as, well, if he passed out, how could he have committed a battery or assault? And I think she might have missed the part right before where it says the struggle occurred before he passed out. That being said, I have not...
If there's no bond,
right,
there could be an issue about not getting credit on it.
Right, I understand that. Judge, let me just ask you this quick question. I spoke to Mr. Linder. I know he's going to object. Would the court entertain any type of bond hearing, even with the understanding that Judge McCarthy found proof evident presumption great? And here's why I'm asking. I just listened to a frantic phone call that it seemingly was recording at the time that this occurred. And Mr. Reed is in some type of either a manic episode or something's influencing him, because he is screaming hysterically, begging the police to take him to jail. And then the phone call cuts off. So you can actually hear him screaming in like a really bad concern or frantic or whatever else it was. And I just feel like maybe there's something that Mom's not aware about. Like I said, I don't know if it's a mental health situation. I don't know if it's a drug problem. But he has very limited, I think he only has one prior offense that I remember reading yesterday. And that's why I'm asking you to consider some sort of a bond, because this is his first felony offense. And it seems like there was an accident, and he gets out of his car and just starts trying to get home. And that's what he keeps saying on the recording. I got to get home. I got to get home. And the police officers are saying, do you want to go to jail? And he says, yes, take me to jail. You know, it sounds like like I said, it could either be something like a drug issue or a mental health issue.
Right. I understand. State, let's just talk about count 2 real quick. What do you think about a bond on count 2?
Well, like I said, on count 2, frankly, I'll leave it up to whatever Mr. Coffey wants.
Procedurally, the court doesn't want to get involved in dealing with a prior ruling that Judge McCarthy's made.
Okay.
Then I maybe start sitting in an appellate capacity, and I really don't want to go down that road and open that can of worms. But what I will do is I will give a bond, whatever you feel is appropriate on count 2. I mean, a $1,000 bond.
Okay.
Is that okay?
That's fine for now, Judge.
And-
but you're not going to... Go ahead, Eric.
Just so I know how to mark this down in my paperwork, the court's going to find probable cause but not proof evident, presumption
Find
ground count 2.
probable cause for burglary with an assault or battery. Not proof evident. Bond will be $1,000. Now, as far as count 1 goes, really, I think the appropriate forum to address this would be an Arthur hearing before the trial judge, and the courts remain consistent on matters like this to let it go to the trial judge, and in any way, in any event, pursuant to the Preston case, which I believe is at the second district court of appeal case, this court believes that it lacks discretion at first appearance where there's a proof evident presumption great to set a bond or any release conditions. That's the way this court has read it consistently the whole time. So I do know you have people here. Who do you have in court with you?
Judge, I have Mom and... Oh, just Mom.
Tell us your name. Okay, ma'am. And you are the mother of Darren Reed?
Yes, I am.
Okay, well, I appreciate you coming to court today. I didn't handle this case originally. I believe it was handled by Judge McCarthy on the weekend. And she made her ruling, and I'm not an appellate judge. I'm on the same level as Judge McCarthy. So it's my opinion, I can't overrule what she's done. She's found that he should be held without bond. I'm going to leave that. The attorney knows exactly how to handle it from here. He has to just have a hearing before his trial judge. I just want to assure you that Mr. Coffey is a very fine attorney, and he knows exactly how to handle this, all right? I want to tell you I appreciate you coming to court today. And
Robert Kent?
what is he going to college?
He just started at BC? Yeah. Yeah.
He went to high school. Where did he go to high school? Did he? Okay.
Judge, you know, and I know Your Honor knows this, even if she finds proof evident presumption great, there's still ways to get a bond as long as it's, still protective of the community. So that's the second half of the...
Do you work?
Oh, sure, Judge.
you. Sir, your attorney's going to work on it for the time
sit
being.
back over there.
Held
Go
without
to the
bond.
CQA.
Thank you. Okay.
Judge, would you consider doing a medical evaluation in order to get him evaluated medically? Yes, Judge. I just asked for doctor and mental health. Yeah, I got it. Judge, thank you so much. Mr. Linder, always a
Rights
pleasure.
at this time?
Excuse me?
Are you invoking
Yeah.
his rights?
Yes, Judge, I'm invoking his rights.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Take
it.
care. All right, now.
Judge Hurley.
Yes, sir.
I have sworn off Christine of North Broward on page 11. She's scheduled to go to AM court. Would you like to see her before she goes? Come on in here.
For the back.
Bad shit. What is it?
Scored law. Ma'am, you have count 1 through 4 are felony warrants. Those were no bond. Count 5, 6, and 7 are misdemeanor warrants. 2,500, 500, 500. And you have a court order, no bond hold on count 8. Count 9, 10, and 11 are all court orders. You'll be held without bond on those. So
No bond hold. So
thank you, ma'am.
warrant. You're going to
I'll
see
let
the
you
judge
go on to
Monday.
your judge. Thank you.
Next Monday.
Now, let's call up, ma'am, tell me which case you're hearing.
It's a violation of probation
What's the last
warrant signed by the judge. You'll see the judge on Monday.
Yes, Frederick Durham, violation of parole. I don't know that.
I'm in Miami, Palm Beach. How long?
Got it right here. Frederick Durham, please.
Durham, are you here?
Ma'am, step right up here. Okay, ma'am, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, ma'am. Tell us your name.
Alicia Hennis.
Okay, ma'am. And how do you know Mr. Durham?
I'm his wife.
Okay, thank you for coming to court today.
You're welcome.
Mr. Durham, you are charged with a violation of parole. I'm reviewing here. Suspected of shoplifting at a Target. Okay. See the printout. Okay, so he's being held on a violation of parole.
Right.
And in the next few days, I'm sure he'll see his parole people and they'll be able to go over this with him.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am?
Okay.
Thank you.
So that's it for
I
today.
can't do anything. When it comes to parole, I have no jurisdiction to, that's a Department of Corrections matter, all right?
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, now, let's call up, I need 2 defendants, DeAndre Miller and Delaquan Everett. Miller and Everett, they're both felony robberies. Could I have everyone testify who's going to
Judge,
testify? Yes, sir. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, now, could I have Mr. Miller and Mr. Everett right at the lectern there?
First name Aaron?
Shoulder to
Judge,
shoulder,
Mr.
please.
Miller has advised me that he's going to be hiring Perry Thurston to represent him.
Okay. Where's Mr. Miller? There you go. Okay, Mr. Everett, could you slide in next to Mr. Miller there?
They have you
Okay,
driving while
now,
This is declining the services of the public defender. Could you sign this, please?
Do you have any children under 18?
I'm gonna go back on. Mr. Miller, Mr. DeAndre Miller, I have left a message for Mr. Thurston for him to call me. Now, I don't know when he's going to call me back. I don't even know if he's available. I don't even know if he's on vacation, if he's around. What would you like me to do, sir? Would you like me to go ahead forward with the hearing this morning? Would you like me to reset this matter for tomorrow to try to get a hold of Mr. Thurston? Did he represent you on your probation case?
Yeah.
Okay. What would you like me to do?
I gotta call him. I ain't getting no phone call yet.
Okay. You want me to reset this matter for tomorrow morning?
Yeah.
Okay. Just stand right there. Okay. Mr. DeAndre Miller, you've been charged with robbery and a traffic violation. Count 3, a probation violation. I see you're on probation right now for a burglary of a dwelling. Delaquan Everett, you've been charged with robbery. Count 2, grand theft. Count 3 through count 12 are court order juvenile matters. Now, the court is going to find probable cause on both counts. And let me state, do you have any priors on? We're going to save Mr. Miller for tomorrow, but could you tell me if Mr. Miller has any priors now?
I don't see anything, Your Honor.
Other than count 3?
No, other than count 3. And I can give the court more information about the allegations in count 3 tomorrow.
Okay. What about Mr. Everett?
Mr. Everett,
Have you ever any of the felonies?
still want to confuse. I'm just checking to see if there's anything that isn't mentioned in counts 3 through 12.
Here, here, and here. Stop it. Any medication? Any mental health?
Yes, Your Honor, it would appear that 3 through 12 covers his juvenile record.
Okay. Now, Mr. Miller, would you like to, well, let me just hold on for a second there.
Your Honor, if I may, as far as with regards to Mr. Everett, if there's, and the reason the detectives are here, there's some aggravating factors, information to provide, Your Honor.
Are you on probation for anything?
Let me just state for the record, since it was on June 29th, University Drive in Tamarack, mobile surveillance by Coral Springs Police. There was a BMW suspected of being involved in several recent vehicle burglaries throughout Broward County. The driver of the vehicle was observed to be the registered owner, DeAndre Miller. He was observed suspiciously driving through a plaza for about 45 minutes just prior to a strong-arm robbery. The vehicle was entered and exited the parking lot about 8 times, and then it goes on to talk about a strong-arm robbery that had occurred just a few minutes after that. So, do you want to bring in?
I guess.
If I ask you each one, what is your name, sir?
Good morning, Judge. My name is Detective Robert Coop with the Coral Springs Police Department.
Okay, and your name, sir?
Detective Javier Duran, a burglary apprehension team.
Okay, your name, sir?
Detective Dwight Hodgson, Coral Springs Police Department.
Okay, so go ahead.
Judge, we're here this morning on behalf of the state just to communicate a few things regarding as it relates to the bond determination of the defendants. Their apprehension yesterday was a result of multiple mobile surveillances through which observations were made, where we have a reason to believe that the defendants are operating together in a coordinated effort to commit multiple conveyance burglaries throughout Broward and Palm Beach counties. In addition, as previously stated, Defendant Miller is currently on felony probation for burglary. I have information on multiple previous arrests for burglary and loitering and prowling. Regarding Defendant Everett, same thing, multiple previous arrests, including a juvenile pickup order for burglary.
Let me ask you, regarding Miller and Everett, how long have you been surveilling them or investigating them for what you thought was their ongoing involvement in burglaries?
1 week, Judge.
1 week. And in that time, before you actually surveilled them, did you suspect them of being involved in burglaries during that week?
Yes, Judge. We had information regarding their involvement in a specific burglary that occurred at a park in Coral Springs.
Okay. And go ahead, say that.
Your Honor, if I may. Detective Cooper, I know in the PC affidavit it describes the alleged victim as an elderly female. Could you give the court a little bit more detail about the alleged victim?
Yes, Judge. Judge, the victim in this case regarding the robbery was a 77-year-old female.
Let me just back up a little bit. Who was doing the surveillance of the vehicle in the plaza?
Together, we operate as part of the burglar apprehension task force through the sheriff's office.
My reading is you're surveilling him in the parking lot, then the gentleman with the dreadlocks, Everett, gets out of the vehicle and heads toward a condominium community or some community nearby the plaza, and then the BMW later on heads over there. Who can tell me about that?
Your Honor, before the actual robbery, they did several heat runs, just test drives to see how they were going to do it. And
Could you speak up?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
They did several heat runs, testing how the actual robbery was going to go down, and when it actually occurred, it occurred exactly how they practiced it. The vehicle went into the neighborhood. Defendant Everett committed the robbery and met up with the vehicle, which time they fled.
Right. Did so Everett confronted an older female? Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. If I may.
Go ahead. Tell us your name.
My name is Detective Hodgson of Coral Springs. The elderly female was leaving the shopping supermarket of Aldi, which is on the corner of McNabb and University. Her husband was walking in front of her as she's being assisted with the cane.
She had a cane?
She had a cane.
Okay, how old woman was this?
77 years old.
Okay.
All of a sudden, I interviewed the victim, and she said that she got grabbed from behind, which she had an abrasion on her left cheek, and a scar in the back of her neck from the, the blunt from the cane.
It says in the report she was bleeding. Did you
She was
see
bleeding
blood?
from, I did, and we got images of that from our crime scene technicians.
Did she tell you what had happened to her?
Yes, yes, sir.
Can you tell us what she told you?
She was walking, her husband was putting the groceries inside the vehicle, at which time she got from around her neck, someone came, knocked her down to the ground. She landed on her left side. Her chain was yanked off. She was able to keep a part of the pendant, and the subject took off eastbound through the parking lot.
Okay. And how much of this did anyone here see? Did anybody see the robbery actually take place?
No, sir, but we got a witness that saw the whole entire thing. He was waiting for their parking spot.
Okay.
So, and we got a statement from him.
It said here somebody saw somebody running away.
That's correct. One of our detectives that was just east from where the subject ran away from was able to see the subject. And we had seen him earlier, clothing description, when it was called in, exactly what he was wearing, and it matched the subject that we had been surveilling the whole time.
Now, you said the woman, was she, other than the cuts on her face, she had to go to the hospital. Was she injured that you know of?
I'll tell you, Your Honor, strong lady. I mean, we interviewed her. She refused DMS, and she was very shaken. I asked her if she needed me to call any siblings. Her siblings were on vacation. She didn't want to worry anybody. She was very caring and very shaken up by the whole ordeal.
Now tell me about the identification process of these individuals.
Once the subjects were apprehended, we did a show-up. The witness that was waiting for the parking spot that was actually backed into a parking spot to park into that spot. I don't know why, but he saw the whole thing. He identified him on scene, as well as the victim.
So the victim positively identified Mr. Everett also?
Yes, sir.
And then Mr. Miller was the driver of the vehicle, the getaway driver?
That's correct.
Okay. And now, one other thing. Go ahead.
Well, Detective, did the victim also identify the jewelry found in the vehicle as her jewelry?
Yes, sir. And just one pendant was missing. We couldn't locate that.
Where was the jewelry was found in Mr. Miller's vehicle?
It was in the. Yeah, that's correct.
It was in the vehicle.
Inside the vehicle.
She identified it as her jewelry.
That is correct, Your Honor.
What? Let me ask any detective they know. Is this gang related? Anybody know?
Not that we know of, Your Honor.
Okay. Is there?
Weekly or bi-weekly?
Okay. Right.
Judge, if I might just add one thing. In addition to the burglary, the surveillance based on the burglary, we're also still in the process of gathering evidence of the subsequent fraudulent use of the victim's credit card checks and other personal identification documents as well.
Circles and those circles. These are circles.
Right. Anything else? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold off on Miller until tomorrow. Take Mr. Miller, and I'm gonna reset you for let's say tomorrow p.m. So that's Tuesday. That's Wednesday p.m. on Miller. He has a right to have an attorney here, and we're going to reach out and try to contact Mr. Thurston. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and set Mr. Everett today.
Down the middle.
Does Mr. Everett have any criminal record other than his juvenile record?
That's all I see, Your Honor, is the
Okay, Mr. Miller, is there anything you'd like to say on behalf of Mr. Everett?
Judge, Mr. Everett has lived in South Florida his entire life. He is employed. He works in landscaping. He does have family here in South Florida, no money in the bank or real estate. He's hoping his father will help to bond him out ultimately. I don't think we're going to be getting a bond anytime soon based on these juvenile holds. However, he is entitled to a bond. We ask that it be as low as possible.
Yes, sir. Is he on probation for these juvenile matters?
Your Honor.
Failures to show up in court.
One moment, let me go back and check.
Correct.
Judge, the court, Mr. Everett would like the court to know that he does volunteer work in the community. He works at a soup kitchen on Martin Luther King Boulevard.
Your Honor, as far as I can see in all these cases, there was commitment to DJJ with conditional release.
So those have been adjudicated.
Oh yes, they've all been.
Okay.
He's been adjudicated.
So let me ask you, how old was the woman again?
She was 77 years old, Your Honor.
77 years old, and she was on a cane?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And, sir, the court's going to set your bond based on several factors. You have a lengthy serious juvenile record right now. You're being held on those bonds. But the court is also concerned, sir, that you ambushed a 77-year-old woman on a cane with your friend, and it doesn't seem like it was a spur-of-the-moment decision to be involved in criminal activity. It does seem this is ongoing criminal activity that you and Mr. Miller had planned out. It said that you had been in and out of that shopping center for about 45 minutes, I think 8 times in and out, circling the parking lot. You had even gotten out, you got back in. It looked like you were casing the area, trying to find a victim. The court's concerned with the level of violence, that you would go up, grab a chain off a 77-year-old woman's neck, causing her injury and causing her to go to the hospital. And you would do so in broad daylight. And there's a witness, so the court does note the strength of the case. You were positively identified by 2 people, and the court also notes that when you were found, you allegedly had the goods on you, or in the vehicle you were in with Mr. Miller, your co-defendant. So the strength of the case seems obvious, but the court's also concerned with the safety of the community, preying on and ambushing a 77-year-old woman. The court will set your bond as this court deems appropriate, based on this court's concern for the community. Your bond on the robbery will be $75,000. Count 2, the grand theft, will be $25,000. You'll have pretrial release if you make a bond. Eventually, after your juvenile matters are taken care of, you have pretrial release, GPS. That's level 1 lockdown. That's house arrest, and I'll waive the cost of that. And the court will also order you have no contact with Dagmar Rocco, the alleged victim in this matter. You're not allowed to have any contact with her directly and indirectly. Stay 500 feet from her. The court will also order you have no contact with your co-defendant, Mr. Miller, directly and indirectly. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Now, may I help you?
Hi, Judge. I have Brad Cohen on for Danny Lopez, page 17. It's an aggravated assault, allegedly. There he is. Looks like he lost weight and grew a beard.
Danny Lopez?
Yeah.
Page 17.
His beard's getting long.
Oh, I know.
I represented him when he had a short beard.
Yeah, put that in domestic violence.
Domestic violence?
Well, I think it was on a family member.
If it's filed, it'll probably end up there.
It is? Wait, let me see. Oh, his older brother? Oh, I
Okay,
thought...
so aggravated battery with the deadly weapon, the court finds probable cause state. Well, let me ask you, do you have an issue with probable cause, Mr. Cohen?
No, I don't know yet. I haven't read this PC, Judge. Let me see.
9:35 in the morning, allegedly committed an aggravated battery upon his older brother, Davy Lopez. He allegedly swung a metal pipe, struck him in the hand. However, the police officer said, I did not observe any injuries that were consistent with being struck with the pipe. The victim provided a statement regarding the incident. So,
yes, I have a problem.
what's that?
I don't know. It says that he doesn't even find any injuries that are consistent.
Okay, I understand that.
So my issue is, Judge, that if you don't find anything that's consistent, you essentially have one word versus another word, and I don't think that rises to the level of probable cause.
Well, the court thinks it does rise to the level of probable cause. It may not rise to the level of a jury convicting him, but as far as probable cause goes, the court believes it rises to that level. But let me go ahead, State.
Maybe the state's going to say something great.
Okay.
I'm just going to give his priors. As far as probable cause, and
probable
someone making that, yeah. I mean,
So then why are you giving his priors? We're just going to go in front of Judge Cohen probably, right? Are we going to...
he's entitled to a bond today.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah? Oh, great.
Okay, so
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Coffee. Jeez.
Crazy this week.
Go ahead.
I'm very upset about the NBC thing.
2011 manufacturing marijuana. 2006 carrying concealed weapon, Judge.
Okay, so I guess we didn't contact the brother on this, right?
No, it was since it wasn't put with the DVs, it wasn't treated that way.
What do you think about a bond?
Your Honor, I understand, Your Honor. I'll leave it in the court's discretion.
What do you?
I'd ask for $2,500, Judge. He's been in the area pretty much his whole life. I represented him before in those other two cases. He's not a flight risk.
$2,500.
Thank you, Judge.
And I'm going to order him not to have any contact with his brother, Davy Lopez. Stay 500 feet from him at all times, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, Judge. I don't know. It's like I said. Yeah, Judge.
Okay, so hold it. All right.
I'll see you
Missy,
later.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Tiffany Mercurio.
North Broward.
Judge, with the port to a mental health screen.
Mercurio, sure.
North Broward.
Okay.
North Broward, Your Honor.
Got it. Ms. Mercurio, you're charged with 2 counts of violating probation. Count 1's
Yes.
5,000, count 2's 5,000. And you want me to order a mental health screen? Okay. I will do that. I'll order a mental health screen. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
I hope you guys can hear the judge say your name, because I can't hear him.
Shakina Scott.
Good morning.
Judge, President of Maine, we have an argument.
Okay, ma'am. You've been charged with domestic battery by strangulation, tampering with evidence. What is your argument, sir?
Well, there's a conflict in the evidence here. The police are saying that there was a verbal argument that escalated to physical, but then they say that she was dragged out of her bed while she was asleep. That doesn't make any sense. They charge her with tampering, but the woman had already called 911. And so I don't see tampering there either. I would ask the court to find no PC in either case.
Okay. It says she took possession of the Claremont's cell phone and ended the 911 call.
Right, but it doesn't say that she took it from her. Two.
All right.
I don't.
I guess literally it doesn't say it was taken from her.
You don't, but I don't think you have to. You just have to tamper or interfere with someone's ability to. You don't have to
Judge,
take
the fact that...
Go ahead,
I'm sorry, Mr. Linder, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Okay.
Go ahead and finish.
No, it's okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, the fact that the woman was able to make the phone call from her own phone after Ms. Scott had left the residence indicates that she had no intent of depriving her of means of communication. She could have taken that phone with her if she had intended to deprive her of means of communication. There's no allegation that she took the phone from her. The only allegation is she hung it up.
I'm going to give it to you on count 2, or count 1. Court's going to find probable
Thank you,
cause.
Judge.
Do you have any priors?
1 moment, Judge.
I'm doing it. If you tell me you
No priors, Judge.
No, he's got no criminal record.
Judge,
It's not.
she is a lifetime resident of South Florida.
Highest volume and it didn't ring?
I'd still, even halfway, I'd still hear it if it was in
Okay.
volume. It's not.
She is a lifetime resident of Broward County. 3 years, same address. She's gainfully employed at Waste Pro for the past 2 years. She has a 6-year-old child that she takes care of. She does have some money in the bank. She does have a place to stay, separate from the alleged victim. She's hoping that her sister will bond her out. We asked for a pretrial release.
Got it. Ma'am, was there contact?
Yes, Your Honor, she indicates she wants contact.
Wants contact? All right. Ma'am, I'm going to set your bond today on count 1, the domestic battery by strangulation. I realize you have no criminal record, but just based on the level of violence at $5,000, ma'am, I'm going to order you have no contact, directly or indirectly, with Gabriel Claremont. Do not call her, text her, email her. Stay 500 feet from her at all times. That's where she lives, works, goes to school. Anywhere in between. You're not allowed to possess guns, firearms, or ammunition while you're on release. Thank you. I see Orlando
Thank you,
Reyes.
Judge. Okay. Over there, please. Mr. Reyes, President of the Maine Judge, he has declined the services of the public defender.
Mr. Reyes, have a seat. I'll be right back with you, sir. How about Marvin Cure?
North Broward.
North Broward, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Thurston just called me. I'll be right back. Hold on, sir. I'll be right there. Marvin Cure.
North Broward.
So you're charged with an assault, domestic violence related, count 1. Count 2 and 3 are probation violations, are both no bond. What state? Let me ask you, Mr. Cure, do you have any money in the bank?
No, sir.
Okay. And are you currently employed?
Yes, sir.
What type of work do you do?
I do home renovating.
So I'm going to say you're bonded $5,000 on count 1, count 2 and 3. You'll be held without bond. I'm going to order you have no contact with Pascal Coeur Locke, no contact with her, no contact with Marie Coeur, directly or indirectly. Stay 500 feet from both of them at all times. Thank you, sir.
Mental health screen, Judge.
Yeah. Can you write a mental health screen on?
I'll do the order, Judge, because confinement has to get it too.
David Meadows.
Was it 5,000? Vicky.
Boy. Okay, David Meadows, sir, you're charged with possession of a weapon or ammunition by a convicted felon on count 1. Count 2 and 3 are 2 is a warrant for a battery, and count 3 is a probation violation.
Thank you so much.
Go ahead, Mr. Miller.
Mr. Meadows has indicated that he intends to hire A.J. Amoroso to represent him on this case. I have not talked to him. I think Mr. Meadows has. I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you talked to Mr. Amoroso since you've been in jail?
No, I haven't spoken to him. I spoke to him yesterday when they arrested me. He said there was no warrant, and that was it.
Okay, do you have Amoroso's number by any chance? Sure. Hold on, sir.
All right, Mama. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
What is it? Sir, I spoke with your attorney's office. They're aware you're here. Your bond on count 1 is 1,000. Count 2 is 1,000.
Oh, Your Honor. I just want to check one thing. I just want to see if.
Hold on, sir. We need to set a bond on 2.
Well, here's the thing, and because I think it would be an aggravating factor to consider, and I'm just checking to see who the alleged victim was on count 3. No, count 3. Count 2, I already know. It's the same alleged victim, Your Honor.
Okay.
In both cases, and I think, that certainly is aggravating that he's on probation for a felony battery against her and is now charged again with another battery against her.
Right. What we're going to do.
And it shouldn't end, frankly, Judge.
You ask your attorney. Ask him to reset it so your attorney can be here.
The only other thing I want to...
I'll get this covered, don't worry.
The only other thing I want to bring up, and I'm checking to see, I believe, I'm not positive, but I believe this count should have been covered by the new bond schedule, so it should have been no bond anyways.
Right. Mr. Meadows, what do you do for work right now, sir?
Construction.
Do you have any money in the bank?
No, sir.
No. What I'll do is I'll set count 2, the bond on count 2 without prejudice. Count 2, the court's going to set the bond at $7,500. And if your attorney wants to come in today or tomorrow and argue that out, we'll do that. In the meantime, I'm going to order you have no contact Whitney Rago. Don't have any contact with her. Stay 500 feet from her at all times.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Can I bond out or no?
Now,
You have a no on hold.
William
See the judge on
Brown.
Monday.
William Brown.
Okay. He's president of Maine.
I will see him now.
You're going to see the judge on Monday.
William Brown.
Yes, the judge can give
Morning,
you a call.
Judge.
Sir, you've been charged with a violation of probation on count 1, out of county hold on count 2. Count 1, no bond. 2, $1,400. Thank you.
Go. Good luck.
Okay, may I see Roger Cox?
North Broward.
North Broward, Your Honor.
Mr. Cox, burglary with structure, battery on a person 65 years of age or older, assault on a person 65 years of age or older. Court finds probable cause, allegedly were highly intoxicated and went after your father, 68-year-old Roger Cox Sr. Swing your fist at him. Allegedly abused your father. Said he has abrasions to his right hand, swelling around his face, and allegedly broke into his home. Says made threats after you'd been arrested. When I get out, I'm going to kill that MFer. Speaking about your father, you're not going to catch me. When I get out, I'm going to his house and kill him. I am then going to hop in a cab and you won't catch me. F him. I'm going to kill that MFer. And it says the police officer said he kept repeating these threats over and over again while in custody. Go ahead, state their priors on Mr. Roger Cox.
Yes, Your Honor. 2012, violation of a domestic violence injunction and trespass against the same alleged victim. 2002, improper exhibition of a firearm. 2002, theft.
Exhibition?
1997, resisting without violence. 1997, burglary of a structure with a VOP, 25.5 months state prison. 91, resisting without violence and disorderly intoxication. Additionally, he's had 2001 out of Illinois, burglary. Looks like he got sentenced to 2 years. Out of West Virginia, domestic battery. That was from it's not giving a date, Your Honor, from what I can see here. 2006. And out of Ohio, just an alcohol violation. He was arrested March 2nd on an open container in Ocala.
Sir, are you currently employed?
Self-employed, Your Honor. Can I say one thing?
Maybe you shouldn't, Mr. Cox.
Okay.
Judge, I do have an argument as to count 1.
Can I say one thing?
Oh, no, sir. Not right now, Mr. Cox. What is your argument, Mr. Miller?
Judge, I'm not seeing here that it was a burglary. It was maybe a trespass. There was no indication that he was not allowed to be at the property. He was told to leave, but he didn't. But that doesn't make it a burglary. It's still a trespass at that point. I would ask the court to find PC on that.
Hold on one moment. Cox Sr. told him once, again, to leave the premises, and Cox Jr. replied, F you, Dad. You can't effing tell me what to do. Cox Jr. then wrenched open the locked screen door with those hands, entered the enclosed porch and battered Cox Sr. Well, if the door was locked and his father had just told him to leave, the court is going to find out unlawful entry. So, that being said, Mr. Cox, do you have any money to bond out with?
No, sir, but can I say one thing? Me and my
probably not, Mr. Cox.
You have the right to remain silent. If you give up that right today, whatever you say can and will be used against you. Everything's being recorded. Do you understand that, Mr. Cox?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm not going to tell you you should say anything. I'll give you an open mic if you feel you have to say something, but I strongly suggest you don't say anything.
Well, all I can say is that my father and me were drinking, and we got in an argument, and he hit me with a pole outside my head. I've been to the hospital, and he hit me in my head and blacked my eye. So I don't understand how he can not be charged for something.
Judge, would the court sign photo orders?
Okay. Well, we'll try to I'm sure the prosecutor, if they think it's appropriate to charge your father, he'll get charged also. If that, all right. So we're going to structure. So I'm going to set your bond based on your lengthy criminal history. You have a couple burglaries, one in Illinois.
I did time for all that.
I know you did. We're very aware of that. Thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set your bond on count 1 at $5,000. Count 2, the battery on your father. Let me see here. You had previous injunction to stay away from your father, improper exhibition of a firearm, plus the threats to kill your father.
Firearm? I never had a firearm.
And then a West Virginia domestic battery. I'm going to set your bond on count 2 at $50,000. Count 3, assault on your father. I'm going to set that at $15,000. So your total bond today is going to be $70,000. Also, the court took into consideration the multiple threats to come kill your father. So I'm going to order pretrial release, GPS monitor. I'll waive the cost. That'll be a level 1 lockdown. Thank you, sir. Oh, no contact with your father, Roger Cox Sr., and stay 500 feet from him at all times.
So how long will I be here in jail? Will I ever get out?
Perhaps you will get out one day, but in the short term, you have to put up a $70,000 bond, and then you'll see another judge probably in a couple of weeks from now, and at that time, the judge can review what I've done today and perhaps modify it. All right? Thank you. How about Robert Dawson?
Main jail.
Mr. Dawson, violating probation. That's a no bond hold, sir. Thank you. How about Troy Craig?
Good luck.
Your Honor, this is a change of charge from a strangulation to a battery.
Okay.
I'm just seeing what the bond was originally set at $15,000. He's being held on a no bond hold for battery and trespass. His other bonds are also $2,500 each on 2 counts of bat leo, $500 felony criminal mischief, $1,000 resisting with violence.
His bond back where it was at $15,000.
Yeah.
With the GPS. Pre-trial GPS. I'll waive the cost. Thank you.
Done.
Okay. May I see the following people please line up for me? Who do we have here, Mr. Miller?
This is Mr. Layton, Judge. I was just anticipating the court.
Mr. Layton?
Layton Stewart. Layton Stewart.
You're Layton Stewart, sir. You have an out-of-state hold. That's a no bond hold, and I'll see you. I'll see you in the coming days in extradition court. I think you're wanted out of, I don't know, Pennsylvania, maybe? Thank you. How about Shannon King? Where's Shannon King?
Paul Ryan.
Ryan, sir.
One up.
Ms. King, you are wanted out of count 3. You're wanted out of Connecticut. No bond hold, ma'am. Thank you. Now see Michael.
All right, thank you.
Please line up when I call out your name. Line up. Michael English. Where's Michael?
Main jail.
Sir, you're wanted out of state, out of Cuyahoga, Ohio. No bond. Thank you. How about Samantha West, Angelia Montez?
West is at North Broward.
This West at North Broward.
West.
Miss West, probation violation. No bond. Thank you. How about Angelia Montez?
North Broward.
North Broward again.
Ma'am, count 1. You have a warrant on a misdemeanor 250, dealing in stolen property 3,500, false ownership of pawn items 3,500. Count 4 and 5 are warrants. Those are both no bond. Thank you, ma'am. How about Jorge Nunez?
Mr. Nunez is a Spanish language defendant, Judge.
Peter Taleja, Thurman McDonald, Jonathan Taroni. Please line up. So, Mr. Nunez.
Nunez is a Spanish language defendant, Judge. That's Mr. Toleja.
No, I'm not Spanish.
What's your name? Are you Peter Toleja?
Yeah.
I was talking about Mr. Nunez.
He said I'm sorry. Okay. Sit down?
No, I want you to talk to the judge now.
I can't keep up.
All right, Mr. Toleja. Count 3, you have a warrant, no driver's license, $250. Thank you. Thurman McDonald.
What?
No valid driver's license from 1999.
Okay.
Mr. McDonald,
What's your name?
Count 8, distributing cocaine. That is, I need to give him a bond for that.
Who are we looking for, Judge?
It's Thurman McDonald.
Yeah, North Broward.
So I'm gonna set your bond on count 5 at $5,000. Count 6, parole violation, no bond. Thank you. How about Jonathan Taroni?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Main jail.
You just gave me a bond for what now?
Count 8, 5,000. Count 9, no bond, parole violation. Thank you.
Yeah, but what is this distributed cocaine? What is that?
Here, can I have that back?
They're saying it's from October of last year,
October of last year.
and I guess they charged you in January of this year. Was he being held somewhere else?
I've been here the whole time.
Okay.
So it is, Judge. I would ask the court to it's an incident that happened. If I could recall correctly, the incident happened in October 2014. They didn't charge him until the PC. I think they may have charged him in January. How long you been in custody?
He's talking to you.
Sir, I'm talking to you. How long have you been in custody?
I don't know what you're doing. You asked me to admit to something. I'm not. Hey, you tell me I have a charge. I've been in here.
How long have you been there?
I mean,
He was arrested January 13th.
January 13th, he's been in. This allegedly occurred October. It was sworn to on June 29th yesterday. So
Judge,
you, sir. Your bond's $5,000 on count 5. Count 6, parole violation, no bond. Thank you. Jonathan Taroni.
Main jail, Judge. Can we get a mental health screen for him?
Yes, count 2, dealing in stolen property, $3,500, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Good luck, Mr. Taroni. Down the middle, please. Thank you. Fahey? Matthew Fahey?
Matthew Fahey, Danny Gross, Robert Kent, Andrew Busby.
You'll see the judge on Monday.
Matthew Fahey, probation violation, no bond. Thank you.
Good luck.
How about Danny Gross?
North Broward.
Violation of community control, no bond. Robert Kent.
Mental health screen, Judge. I'm Mr. Gross, I previously represented.
You'll see the judge on Thursday.
Thank you, Judge.
Thursday.
Robert Kent.
Thursday, yes, sir. He's present at the main.
Sir, violation of probation, 2 counts, no bond. Thank you. Andrew Busby.
Main jail.
Violation of parole, no bond. Thank you.
Good luck, Mr. Busby.
Johnny Jones, Landon Green.
Main jail, Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones, violating probation. Count 1 ROR, count 2 no bond. Thank you. How about Anthony Green? Landon Green, I'm sorry, Landon Anthony. Sir, count 1 violating probation. Misdemeanor ROR 2, 3, and 4. Felony violations of probation, no bond. Thank you.
You're going to see the judge on Thursday. Good luck.
Messi Latoya Williams, Christina Strally, Flora Mitchell, and Ed.
Good luck.
There you go.
Miss Latoya Williams, Judge.
Okay, Miss Williams, you're charged with ma'am. And the court finds probable cause of Miss Williams. State, do you have any priors on Miss Williams? Allegedly,
no, Judge.
$63 worth from Walmart.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
Yeah,
she does.
Ma'am, are you currently employed?
No.
Do you have money in the bank?
No.
Okay, go ahead, Steve.
Theft 2012 out of Broward.
So.
A lot of other traffic stuff, but
Ma'am, your
that's
bond's
it.
$100. You have a prior theft. Don't go back to Walmart. Thank you. How about Christina Stralley?
North Broward.
Okay, Ms. Stralley.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ma'am, you're charged with theft from Publix. Court finds probable cause. State, do you have any priors on Ms. Stralley?
Yes, Judge. Her prior.
Yes, I do.
Ma'am, are you currently employed?
No, Your Honor, I'm 100% disabled.
Yes, ma'am. Do you have money in the bank?
No, I have money on me.
Okay, go ahead, state.
07 felony credit card fraud, 30-month state prison. 07 burg dwelling, dealing in stolen property and grand theft, 30 months. 07 possession of cocaine. 07 possession of cocaine, oxycodone, marijuana.
Your Honor, I have not gotten any legal charges since I've been released from prison in 2010.
Yes, ma'am.
Nor since this.
Yes, ma'am. Your bond's going to be $100. Don't go back to
Judge, with the
Publix.
court to access to. Is your money in your property?
Actually, they took most of it. I came in with $100. I got 39 left because they charged me for 2 uniforms and
By the
everything
way,
else.
Good luck. Thank
Your
you.
Honor, you can also remind her, getting in trouble in New York still counts.
Okay.
Well, Judge, with the court to a property order, maybe you should
2013.
contact a bondsman.
All right.
Would it be possible to be ROR, Your Honor?
No, ma'am. It's not today. Thank you, Flora Mitchell.
Thank you.
Flora Mitchell's present as the main judge. We have an argument.
After Flora Mitchell, I need to see Edward Hope. Edward Hope after Flora Mitchell.
Can I get this one, Mr. Miller? I made notes on this one. It doesn't indicate what.
She's charged. Let me start off. Ma'am, you've been charged with burglary of an unoccupied dwelling. Go ahead.
It doesn't say what Miss Mitchell's involvement was. It's conclusory. It says that the items were recovered at Mr. Hope's house, the co-defendant's house. But other than that, you're talking about a small paragraph.
I agree with the initial PC, but if you read Mr. Hope, the co-defendant, it said he has there's more language in his. I agree. It looks like all she did in hers was just driving there and back in, and he goes to the shed and takes things, and she has no idea. However, if you read his, it says entry was made into the yard. Both defendant and co-defendant broke the lock securing the shed. That is not in hers, but that's in his. So I think that's that's enough there. I would agree she'd be an innocent bystander if you just read hers to begin with. But if you read his, it fills in the blank. So, go ahead. Are there priors on Miss Mitchell?
For Ms. Mitchell,
Miss Mitchell, how long have you lived down here in South Florida?
59 years.
Where'd you go to high school?
Hollywood Hills and BFJ and adult.
Really? Now, are you working, ma'am?
No, I'm disability.
You're on disability, okay?
Yeah, injured.
Okay. Go ahead, Steve.
she just has an old disorderly conduct.
All right, ma'am. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance today, ma'am. And okay, thank you, ma'am.
Just no return to the property, please.
Ma'am, don't go back to the place where the shed was. Don't go back there, all right?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Yes, sir. May I help you? Excuse me?
Orlando Reyes.
It's the DV
Hope
you
here?
said, Judge.
Hope?
Okay. Hold on one moment. Just give me a moment. May I see Edward Hope?
North Broward, Your Honor.
Yeah, I was calling about her. It's reset for the afternoon, but I don't know. I feel so bad.
Mr. Edward Hope? Sir, you've been charged.
Yeah, he's there.
You're charged as the co-defendant with the one we just had here, charged with burglary, breaking into somebody's shed. Do you have any priors on Mr. Hope?
One moment, Judge.
Mr. Hope, how long have you lived down here in South Florida, sir?
Oh, it was in 1936.
1936?
Yes, sir.
Where were you born?
Albany, Georgia.
You're born in Georgia, but you grew up here?
Even though she's going to be
Yes, sir.
here this
Wow.
afternoon.
Was there anything down here in 1936?
said it was just a mid.
No, just getting started. My mom and dad brought me down here from Georgia.
Really?
And I just went to school here for a while, for 11 years.
Wow. Where'd you go to high school?
I went to Lanier Junior High in Hallandale.
Okay.
Theft 95. Stealing stolen property 81. Breaking and entering. The grand larceny from the 50s.
So I'm going to release you on your own recognizance today, but I don't want you to go back to that George King or King George's house where the shed was, all right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Okay,
I looked
now.
through the case and I saw the orders that you signed. And
Judge, this is Mr. Reyes.
Okay. Mr. Reyes,
He
you
has
speak
declined
English?
the public defender. A little bit.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Reyes, I'm going to charge you with a domestic battery. Claims probable cause stated their priors on Mr. Reyes.
1 moment, I'm sorry.
Okay. Who's here on the Reyes case?
Yeah.
Daughter.
Excuse me?
Her daughter.
Matter of fact, you know what?
His daughter.
You're the daughter? Okay, come on up here. Stand right there. Raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, all truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
Okay, put your hand out and tell us your name.
It's Yaret Vanessa Reyes.
Okay, and you're the daughter of Orlando?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And State, do we have no priors on him?
Patrice, do you have anything?
Ma'am, your father is charged with waving a knife in front of you.
Yes, sir.
It says you came to the house. He says you came to the house begging for money. Turned into an argument, and it says you two began to push each other. You want to tell me anything about this?
Well, no, that's his story. The story was that it wasn't a fight about money. It was a fight about my sexual orientation and the situations that we've been having at the house.
Right.
It wasn't about money. The conversation did start with asking him how he was with money, because I'm not doing so well, so I was gonna ask him for help. Then it escalated, the fight started, and he assaulted me, he confronted me, he put me in a chokehold, he dragged me across into the living room, and he wove a knife in my face.
Pushing first, right?
Yes.
Who started the pushing?
He did. He confronted me, and then I pushed him to get him off. He would not let me leave. I tried to leave the house. He wouldn't let me leave the house. I tried to get in my room, close the door. He wouldn't let me. He just kept on trying to confront me.
Does your father carry any guns or weapons with him?
No, sir.
Has anything like this ever happened before?
Not towards me, no, sir.
Okay, and is there any alcohol or drugs involved in this?
No, sir.
Now, who else lives in the house besides you and your dad?
Just me and him.
What does he do for work?
He works along with my mother cleaning houses. They're self-employed.
Okay. Does he own his own home?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Go ahead.
Like this, and ma'am, I just want to clarify, because I noticed when the judge asked you if anything like this has happened to you before, you said no, not towards me.
Yes.
Has it happened towards anyone else?
Well, I mean, honestly, there has been altercations with my mother and my brother, but I was too young, honestly, to remember, so I couldn't tell you, honestly.
Okay. Does your mother live in the house? No?
Yes.
She lives in the house?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And this is the first time your father's been violent with you?
With me, yes.
Okay. And when he was swinging the knife, did you think he was going to cut you with the knife?
Yes, I got scared. I got backed up into the corner of the door. I wanted to open the door, but I was scared. I thought he would have done something. I mean, obviously, I don't think my dad is not a violent man. He would never do that. But at a moment like that, I obviously got scared when you get confronted with a knife in front of your face.
Right. Now, does he have any other family besides your mother and the family, the children down here in South Florida?
Yeah, he has my aunt and 2 cousins.
Where do they live?
They live in Hollywood.
Okay, all right. Do you think if I let your father out of jail, he's going to harm you or anyone in your family?
Not at all, sir.
Okay, so, Steve, what do you think?
I mean, My concern is that I understand that Ms. Reyes doesn't think this is going to happen again, but I'm sure she didn't think it was probably going to happen yesterday. When you bring a knife into the equation, the concern goes up, Your Honor. I'd be asked, because of the alleged use...
It was a kitchen knife. I say about that big, that long.
Pointy end on it?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd be asking for a, because of the use of a weapon, I'd be asking for a $7,500 bond, no victim contact.
Well, who's gonna, okay. All right, sir. Sir, all right. I'm gonna, ma'am, do you think a $7,500 bond is appropriate? Or you can, I mean, do you think I need to go higher with the bond, lower with the bond?
Lower.
Lower?
It would definitely help us out because we're the ones who are gonna get him out, but I don't, my dad's not a violent man, I'm telling you, he's not. It's just, I just believe that honestly people block out sometimes and it gets violent, but my dad has never been that way towards me.
Well, I have to say, you're being very gracious right now.
He is, after all, my father.
Yeah, I understand. Okay, I'm gonna set his bond today at $1,500, all right?
Okay.
And so I'm gonna order that for the time being, you have no contact with Ureth Reyes, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Ureth, don't have any contact with her. Stay 500 feet from her at all times. That's where she lives, works, goes to school, anywhere in between. You may have to stay with your sister or family for the time being until this goes to court and gets resolved, all right? No guns or weapons may be in your possession while you're on release. Okay, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Good. Okay.
Thank you.
Just for a moment, I'll victim advocacy, I'd vouch for some information for you.
Okay.
Your Honor, before we move on, I just want to bring to the court's attention, Nancy Sansone, it was a case yesterday that you reset for this afternoon. It was a med reset up in North. It's been brought to my attention. She has a long history of cases with Judge McHugh, pending cases. It's been brought to my attention, Judge McHugh has requested that she be brought to her courtroom tomorrow afternoon. Thursday morning to address this matter. So, Your Honor, we would just ask at this time that the court take her off the docket so she can go before Judge McHugh.
Or when is she going to?
Thursday morning. Judge McHugh is aware of the situation.
Well, I mean, can I just wait till we get to it this afternoon? Does it really need to be taken off the docket now?
Your Honor, if you want to have her brought here because of her situation, bring her. She's at North. I'm just taking into consideration. The court can do whatever you want, but I just thought it might be easier just to not burden the court, burden her with being brought from herself. Or
somebody convey this tomorrow.
I mean, my only concern is does she have VOPs, or because with battery charges per the administration? No, I do understand, but we're talking Thursday, so she may be, if the court were to set a bond, she may be able to postpone. We don't know her financial circumstances.
Or the court could revoke her bond on her I will, Judge.
Thank you. Okay. May I help you, or are you just observing today? All right. Now, I see Kristen Kiley.
North Broward.
Judge, med screen on her. Mental health screen too.
You over here, guys.
Catch that? What we were just talking about? No. Nancy Sansone, Sansone. It was reset for this yesterday to this afternoon. If you could, she's to be taken off the docket.
Now, Miss Kristen Kiley, ma'am, you've been charged with possession of PVP. It's also known as FLACA. Court finds probable cause. Are there any priors on?
Hold on a second.
This person. Do you have any priors?
Yes. Who makes the docket? I know, but they can take it off. I don't see any priors.
No?
If you could call them and tell them, they already made the docket.
What, are you currently employed?
From yesterday.
No.
Her name's Nancy.
Do you have any money in the bank?
If you could call
No.
How long have you lived down here in South Florida?
Being taken off the docket. She's at North.
I just recently came back about a year ago, but I've lived here since like my whole life.
Well, who are you going to live with when you get out of jail?
I'm going back home.
Where's that?
My mother, Pompano, here in Pompano with my mother.
What's the address?
16 Northeast 20th Avenue.
Have you ever lived there before?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. I'm going to do PTR pending, all right? I'm going to set your bond at $1,000, ma'am. You can bond out, or if you wait a few days, you may be able to get out on release. PTR pending. Thank you. Okay, so I'll release your ROR to pretrial release. Yes, ma'am, you have to report to pretrial release tomorrow. Can you bring her back real quick?
Yes. Come here, Kylie, come here.
Ma'am, do you have a case on the docket? Yeah.
No, I'm waiting for her. Should I go back out?
Come here.
Ma'am, you have to report your pretrial release in downtown Fort Lauderdale tomorrow between 8 and noon, all right?
Okay.
Thank you.
Here's the paper on how to get there.
Messi, David Lee, Robert Tompkins, Stephen Maliani, and Jesus Ortega.
Have a seat.
Judge, this is David Lee. This is charged as a county ordinance. He is interested in resolving if the court is so inclined.
Okay, Mr. Lee, you are charged with being in the park after dark. You know, you're down here. The other man who you were in the fight with, he was down here for drug rehab and fell out off the wagon. Are you down here for drug rehab also?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How long have you been down here?
I've been down here for 8 months. I've been sober for that amount of time, and I have a full-time job.
What do you do for work?
I work at Houston's restaurant. I'm a waiter there.
It's interesting.
Yeah, you want to plead no contest right now?
Yes, sir.
You understand, sir, if you plead no contest, the case will be over with today. We're not going to have a trial. You're not going to have your day in court. The case is over with right now. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how do you plead, sir?
You try to resolve
No contest.
Okay, we'll hold adjudication. Thank you. Good luck. Robert Tompkins.
Okay, you're done. You're going to get out in a couple hours. Awesome.
Tompkins.
Down the middle.
Sir, trespass.
President Domain.
Come on up, Mr. Tompkins. Sir, you're charged with trespassing. You want to resolve it right now, plead no contest?
Come on, he said no, Judge.
No?
No.
Okay. All right. What are you going to do? Are you going to bond out of jail?
No.
Okay. All right. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance, all right? Thank you.
All right, good luck.
How about
Maliani?
Stephen Maliani.
North Broward.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Maliani, trespassing. I think you've been out of jail, how long, a day maybe?
Not long.
Yeah. What happens is you got caught committing a theft at Walmart, I don't know, last year. They trespassed you, and you keep going back there. This time, they see you at Walmart, and they think you're there to steal again, even though they've asked you not to go back there. So,
well, Your Honor, what happened was when I was there, I honestly didn't remember that I was like had a no return order. I wouldn't have been there if I didn't know I couldn't go there. And I wasn't going to sell. I was going to get a bag of chips and a soda.
Right. Go ahead. Steve, when was the last time he was? What was he in for the last time? Got it yesterday.
Last arrest was June 25th. Was released on the 26th for trespassing on Andrews.
Trespassing on Andrews Avenue?
Yeah, and then June 8th was his arrest before that.
Okay.
And that was trespassing. That was trespassing 460 West Broward. And then he did a few days on that.
7-Eleven on Broward Boulevard.
Then March 22nd.
So in the last 2 or 3 months, he's been arrested.
And that was on littering and probation violations.
Mr. Molly,
Your Honor,
go ahead.
Your Honor, I just like to say something real quick. I know I've been living down here for about a year. I had an apartment about 8 months ago, and I've been homeless for a while. But my disability check comes in tomorrow, whenever in the next day, today or tomorrow, and I'm going to be flying back. I'm going to be flying back to New York, so I'm not going to be in homeless in
All
Florida.
right, well, you can tell that to Judge Lerner Wren. Your bond's $250 based on all your recent arrests. You're going to go see Judge Lerner Wren. Thank you.
Judge, mental health screen.
Well, I'm going to send it.
If you can.
Some free mental
All right,
health.
Jesus Ortega, David Lynch,
Mr. Ortega,
Daniel
Spanish
Forrest, and
language
Marlon
judge, this is Mr. Lynch.
Wright.
Judge, Mr. Ortega is Spanish language defendant. This is Mr. Lynch.
I'm going to set Mr. Ortega.
Thank you.
Oh.
Ortega, ven aquí.
Hey, Sue?
Yes, sir.
Could you tell him in Spanish we're going to reset him for the afternoon docket?
Señor, vamos a poner a usted para la 1:30 de la tarde para tener una intérprete en español.
Okay.
Thank you. David Lynch.
Main jail.
Mr. Lynch, you're driving on a suspended license, and you got picked up for a warrant for driving on a suspended license. And your total bond's going to be $600 today, sir. Thank you.
Good luck. Down the middle, out the door.
If you don't
How
have a
about
bond, what
Daniel
do? Just
Forrest?
stay in prison the rest of your life?
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Mr. Miller, we're all commenting over here your great deadpan delivery on that last one. I mean, your comedic timing was just right on.
Well,
we all agree. You know?
Thank you, Judge.
I gotta tell you.
I didn't do anything.
That's probably some of Miller's best work just now. You know that? All right, Daniel Forrest.
Main jail.
Sir, petty theft, court finds probable cause.
He's a kid.
Public
That's a grown man.
supermarket, shoplifting, $27 worth. State, do we have any priors on this gentleman?
He just resolved a trespass a couple weeks ago. Grand Theft Auto 2012 with the VOP. Burglary, conveyance, and Grand Theft 09 with the VOP. Burglary, conveyance, and Theft 09 with the VOP. Burg conveyance, and Theft 09 with the VOP.
Okay, sir, I count right here. You're 23 years old. You've got 2 grand thefts, 3 burglaries, and 2 petty thefts. Are you currently employed?
Yes, sir.
Excuse me?
Yes, he is, Judge.
Do you have money in the bank?
I don't.
All right, I'm going to set your bond at $250 and ask you not to go back to Publix based on your thefts and burglaries. Thank you. How about Marlon Wright?
Raise my bond.
Decline PD.
Sir, possession of cannabis, license suspended. You have a warrant on a misdemeanor. That's no bond. And that's for driving on a suspended license. So count 1, 100. Count 3, no bond. Thank you. Edwin Aguilar, Nicholas Harding, Billy Hockaday, and Edward Copley.
Call your name, line up, guys.
Are you Edwin?
Line up.
Copley.
No.
Copley.
Where's Edwin?
Bonded.
Bonded.
Aguilar bonded.
Copley. Yeah.
Last time. See, F4. All right, Nicholas Harding.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Harding, where are you, sir?
One of the Pompano jails.
Nicholas Harding. Okay, we'll put that to the side. Did he bond out, Harding? All right, Billy Hockaday.
Beg your pardon. Here's Mr. Harding, Judge.
Harding.
Yes, sir.
Sir, you have a municipal ordinance violation. I'll see you at 1:30 today. Thank you. How about Billy Hockaday?
You can nap until then. Go.
Billy Hockaday, count 1 is a theft charge. Count 2, you're on probation for carrying concealed firearm. Count 1, 25. Count 2, no bond. Thank you. How about
How would
Edward,
I go about getting a
Edward
bond?
Copley or Copley?
You're going to see the judge on Thursday.
Mr. Copley, you're charged with license suspended. Give me a moment. Sir, you're charged. You have a Class E license. You know, Copley, you could go get your driver's license. I don't know why you keep driving like this. You could go get it.
I know, sir.
I'm going to say your bond today at $100, sir. You can bond out, all right?
I don't know, sir.
All right. Good luck.
Good luck. Surin?
Okay. Mr. Dennis Surin. After that, Travion Lockett, Brian Lamadeleine, and James Armstrong. Dennis Surin, you were charged with 2 counts of burglary of a conveyance, petty theft, count 4, burglary of a conveyance, loitering or prowling. Court finds probable cause. State, do we have any priors on this gentleman?
Some possession of marijuana last year, Judge.
Last year, possession of marijuana. Okay. Mr. Miller, anything you'd like to say on behalf of this defendant?
Judge, he's been living in South Florida his entire life. He's been at the same address for the past 9 years. He works for Certified Payment Processing. He has strong family ties, no money or real estate. He's hoping that his cousin will help to bond him out.
Sir, I'm going to set you bond on count 1 at $2,500, 2 at $2,500. Count 3, I'm going to release you ROR. Count 4, $2,500. Count 5, ROR. Sir, it's alleged you were involved in multiple vehicle burglaries. You actually made a confession. Based on the strength of the case, court's concerned for the safety and ongoing criminal activity. Your bond's going to be $7,500 today. Thank you. How about Travion Lockett?
Good luck.
Do you have a
Main jail?
Lockett? Mr. Lockett, count 2, probation violation. Controlled substance, count 1. No valid DL. Give me a moment, Mr. Lockett. Sir, your bond on count 1 is $25. Count 2, no bond. Thank you.
You're going to see the judge on Thursday.
Brian LaModelaine.
Main jail.
Sir, grand theft. The court notes that you have a prior petty theft and prior grand theft. Anything else?
Yes.
Go ahead.
2011. He had a burglary of a structure. Was sentenced to 3 years state prison as a habitual offender. Was released July 26th of last year. He also theft 08, grand theft auto in 07 with the leaving the scene of an accident, 31 months state prison. Felony petty theft 06, burg dwelling, grand theft 01, 5 years. Burg dwelling 01, 5 years. Grand theft 01, 5 years.
Okay.
Theft, cocaine, theft, other theft.
Got it. Sir, are you currently employed?
No, sir.
Do you have any
No.
money in the bank?
No.
So allegedly stole from Kmart $348 with 3 necklaces from the jewelry case, allegedly watches, 8 different watches, sterling silver necklace, pair of pliers. And the court notes that you've been, let me look here, you've been convicted grand theft auto, felony petty theft, grand theft twice, petty theft 3 times, burglary of a dwelling, burglary of a structure. You've already been declared a habitual offender. Just got out of prison, I believe, last year. Going to raise your bond to $5,000 today, based on your criminal record. The facts in case don't go back to Kmart. Thank you. How about James Armstrong?
Main Jim.
James Armstrong. Sir, petty theft, count 1, $100. Count 2, trafficking in heroin out of Palm Beach County. It's a $100 bond on 1, no bond on 2. Thank you. I see Leonard Green, Aaron Codrington, Jimmy Alexis, and Rogelio Alvarez. Mr. Green, license suspended, sir. Give me a quick moment. Says habitual here. Let me look. 2010. Okay. Well, you got rehabitualized in March of this year. Okay. Sir, I'm going to let you bond out. Your bond $750. Thank you.
Good luck. Huh? Bond $750.
How about Aaron Codrington, sorry. Mr. Codrington, you're here for license suspended. I'm looking here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and, oops. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance on count 1. I'm going to let you go to St. Lucie. Thank you. How about Jimmy Alexis? Mr. Alexis, aggravated assault. Go ahead.
Count 2, I looked, there is no injunction in Broward County. There might be somewhere else, but I don't have access to all the records.
Sir, aggravated assault on count 1. Count 2, possession of a firearm while there's a domestic violence injunction enforced. And I'm looking here.
Your Honor, for the record, the injunction's out of Miami-Dade County.
It's out of Miami?
Yes. And just for record purposes, case number is F10-33727.
Yeah, F10-33.
727.
Got it. All right, so I'm going to find probable cause to count 2 state. Since here, sir, are you currently employed?
Oh, not at the moment, Judge. He's been living in South Florida for about 7 years. He's got 6 children, ranging in age from 5 to 14. Strong family ties. About $500 in the bank, and he's hoping that the mother of one of his children will bond him out.
All right. Steve, does he have any priors?
Yeah, Your Honor. One moment. I can tell you, it looks like the injunction I gave you, the case number on before, that was from 2010. It's not expiring, but it looks like in November of last year, a temporary injunction was put in place protecting a different woman, and that was in place till November 25th. Other priors include, it looks like he has yeah, it does. Open aggravated battery with a deadly weapon out of Dade County.
He's got that open now?
Yes, that was from April 28th of this year. He had a domestic violence battery arrest January 31st of this year out of Dade. That was null prost. And another battery arrest in 2013 out of Dade. That was null prost.
Was that domestic also?
It doesn't say. I don't believe it was, though. Hey, could you do me a favor? This is the SBU. Could you just drop this off at DT for me, please? Thank you so much.
Now, sir, any money in the bank right now? Turn on that mic for me. Press the button there. Thanks.
Yes.
Okay. Court is concerned, sir, with the safety of the alleged victim. The victim, Neptune Prussian, the defendant had threatened to kill her husband and everyone else in the listed residence. The defendant responded to the listed residence with a fully formed, conscious intent to kill everyone in the residence. The alleged victim saw the defendant in the parking lot walking to her door with a gun visible in his hand. She looked at him through the window, advised that she call the police, at which time he retreated to the vehicle, began to flee. A show was conducted. She identified the defendant. Post Miranda, the defendant admitted that he was in possession of 2 firearms located inside of his vehicle. And they found a loaded 6-hour 9mm semi-automatic handgun, unloaded Ruger semi-auto pistol. And the defendant currently has an injunction, a final injunction out of Dade County, in which he's not supposed to have any firearms or any ammunition in his possession. And in this case, he allegedly goes with a firearm to somebody's house after he's threatened to kill the family, and he's witnessed by the alleged victim. He's got an open aggravated battery case out of Miami right now. Earlier this year, he was arrested for domestic battery, and a couple of years ago, a battery. So based on the facts of the case, the defendant's open case out of Dade County, the fact that allegedly he threatened his family with a gun he wasn't allowed to have, made threats to kill, what's going to set his bond on count 1 at $100,000. Count 2, your bond, sir, is going to be $50,000. You're going to have pretrial release, and the court will order that it's a level 1 lockdown. GPS monitor. I'll waive the cost. So you're not allowed to have any, obviously, have any firearms in your possession while you're on release. The court will order that you have no contact with Neptune Prussian or anyone in their family. You must stay 500 feet from them at all times. You're not allowed to possess any guns or weapons while you're on release. Thank you. How about Rogelio Alvarez?
Main jail, Judge. Oh, we have an argument.
Go ahead, sir.
Count 1 and 3. Count 1, there's no real witness. Count 3, there was no indication that there was a warning given to him regarding contraband. I would argue no PC on counts 1 and 3.
Just reread this real quick here.
Can I ask a question?
Okay, so, what is your position on count one?
That's fine, Judge.
I agree. ROR count one, no PC to count one. And then what about three?
Your Honor, I mean, I don't know if I agree about the warning part, but based on where it was found, an argument could be made that a thorough search they would have located, could have located there before bringing him in.
Sir, I'm going to release you ROR on count 1 and 3. Does he have any prior state?
Yes, Your Honor, one moment.
What's my wife's?
I'm looking at his driving record right now. Just want to see if he's got a failures to appear in court in West Palm.
And 2013.
That's been taken care of.
2013, he had
Oh, no, it's to show that you don't show up in court, not that whether you took care of it or not. Go ahead.
2013, he had a couple DWS habitual offenders. He was sentenced to 30 days on a VOP on one of them.
So I'm going to let you bond out, count 4, 1,000. Thank you. Based on your failures to appear up in West Palm. Francis Dorstein, Edwin LeBoy, Diablo Martin. Sir,
this is Mr. Dorstein. He's declined the PD,
sir,
Judge.
throwing a missile into a dwelling, vehicle, building, or aircraft. Court finds probable cause. 3 children with his wife. Allegedly threw a gallon can of paint through a window, causing it to break. And fall in the bed with a child. Were located, let me see. His wife says he's high on Flocka. Go ahead, Steve.
Just one moment, Your Honor.
Sir, are you employed at this time, Dorstein?
Yes.
What type of work is that?
I say yes, unemployed.
Oh, you're unemployed?
Yes.
Do you have any money in the bank?
Oh.
Go ahead, Steve.
Your Honor, he is on probation before Judge McHugh. He's on probation until April 16th of next year for violation of a domestic violence injunction against the same alleged victim.
Okay.
He's also supposed to, and he was just put on probation May 7th. Supposed to be in the process of going to anger management. I don't know how well that's working.
Okay, so today, sir, I'm going to, do you have any money to bond out with?
No, sir.
So I'm going to say your bond today at $2,500. I'm going to order that you be held without bond on a violation of injunction. What's it?
153397 MM10A.
MM10. That's a probation matter. You can be held pursuant to Florida Statute 948. Thank you, sir.
Judge, could you please repeat that case number?
That is 153397 MM10. How about?
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome,
That
Edwin LeBoy.
means you're going to be held without bond until you see the judge. Judge, Mr. LeBoy's mother called pretrial this morning, or they called her, and she asked that the case be reset to the afternoon. Apparently, she wants to address the court.
Okay, 1:30 p.m. today.
Thank you, Judge.
LeBoy.
Okay, we'll see you after lunch. You can have a seat. Hang on. Martin?
How about Diavolo?
He has a question.
Diavolo Martin?
He's present at the main.
Sir, possession of controlled substance, drug paraphernalia. Finds probable cause. Do we have any priors on Mr. Martin?
Patrice, could you provide the court with priors, please?
After Mr. Martin, I need Maurice Dennis and Michael Howard. Dennis and Howard right after him.
One moment.
I'm waiting on the interpreter.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, Your Honor, two of his cases that he's out on are filed.
Okay, what are they?
Possession of PVP 15, 34, 38 CF10A, and possession of PVP in clonazepam 15, 58, 52 CF10A.
Okay. So today the court's going to set your bond at $1,000 on count 1, ROR 2 and 3. Court will revoke your bond on 15, 3438 CF10, 15, 5852 CF10. Bond release conditions are both revoked. Thank you, sir. Going to be held without bond. Okay, now, I see Maurice Dennis.
Med reset.
Okay,
Your
reset
Honor,
before we
well,
go ahead.
on Maurice Dennis,
Wednesday PM.
well, oh, never, oh, never mind. I didn't really, he's on
Wednesday
the,
PM. How about Michael Howard?
Got the on.
He's doing copy right now.
Michael Howard, count 2 is fleeing and eluding. State, what's count 1?
1 moment, Your
Is
Honor.
this a refile?
No, it's a change of charge, and bond was originally $2,500.
So I'm going to put your bond back on count 2 at $2,500. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, sir. We go. Let's do our Spanish after.
Well, we just have one perfection.
We'll do our Spanish after Mr. Nunez. Wait, I mean, is it okay if Sue tells him? I mean, it's a violation.
Sue's gone, Judge.
Oh, is she? Okay, well, we'll do it after lunch. Okay,
Caitlin James.
Caitlin James.
We're going to come back after lunch.
After lunch?
After lunch.
Can you tell me the dog?
Hey, Mr. Miller, he sounds like he understands English, so. Do you, sir,
Judge.
Sir, do you understand English?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you have a violation of probation. You will see your
Yes, sir.
judge. You'll see your judge in the next few days, okay?
She told me that I have to come back on the 27th, but the thing is, I live with my son. He's 16 years old, and I also have 4 daughters, and I need to work, and I don't know if they're gonna let me out because I pay everything in my house, and I'm working on construction. If I stay a month right here on jail, who's gonna pay
There's
everything?
nothing this judge can do about it. Your judge
Yeah, I
asked that you
understand,
be
I
held without bond. There's nothing this judge can do for you.
Sir, reset it for 1:30, all right?
We'll see you after lunch.
Thank you very much.
Yes. And you gave me this for, what's her name?
The perfection, Caitlin James.
Caitlin.
North Broward.
Your Honor, the issue originally was,
Fraud regarding a false instrument.
and yes, Judge McCarthy felt there was, at the time, there's no evidence that Ms. James knew it was fraudulent.
Okay.
Deputy Ciccone has added handwritten language, Your Honor, indicating that the name on the fraudulent ID that she presented to the bank was the same as the name on the check. Bearing that, I think there's clearly evidence that she knew or should have known that the check she was presenting to the bank was fraudulent. I mean, she knew she had a fake ID.
The fake ID matched the name on the check. So,
Exactly.
Okay, got it. All right. Now, ma'am, I see you're being held on a violation of probation from somewhere else, from Palm Beach County. So, ma'am, count one, I'm going to find probable cause. Your bond's $1,000.
Judge,
Thank you.
will the court ROR and let her go on her way to Palm
No,
Beach?
Not on a substantive charge like this. I mean, she's got a charge here, she's got a charge there. I mean, there you go. Thank you, ma'am. I mean, if it were a driving thing or something.
Sure.
Okay,
I think that's it.
that's it. We'll see everyone back here at 1:30. Thank you, everyone.